Hello, listeners. Welcome to yet another episode of the Startup Catalyst. Special guest today is Sanjay Nagi, one of our newly onboarded ST mentors. Welcome, Sanjay.
Thank you, Hital.
So, Sanjay, as you know, GRG GenNext is the latest incubator in city of Coimbatore. The idea of the incubator is to encourage young and early stage startups to get a very facilitative and cooperative ecosystem for them to be able to grow. And the mentoring panel, which you are part of, is a significant factor in terms of guidance and support. For the benefit of the listeners and our incubatees, why don't you just walk us through on your experience and what's been your experience like, especially with startups as well?
Okay, thank you, Hital. My name is Sanjay Nagi. I'm an engineer from IIT Roorkee way back in 1983. Most of the mentees that you have would not probably have been born at that time. So it gives a unique challenge and a unique opportunity for me to continue to remain young. Recently, I was awarded a PhD by the Maryland State University for the 42 years I have put into management. And
Wow.
what I did was send them my marketing CV, my training CV, my innovation CV, and my mentor CV. And they were convinced that they could award a PhD to me.
Okay.
Uh, in terms of mentoring startups, I think post first experience was that I wanted to raise money for my consulting company. So I run
Hmm.
a consulting company and not an individual consultant. I run a
Right.
consulting company called Market Insight Consultants, which specializes in helping clients around marketing. So we
Hmm.
employ about 40 people
Yeah.
and we've been around for 23 years. So my first experience was to, try to get money into. I spent a lot of money understanding how to make pitch decks and all that. The startup ecosystem was not so evolved at that time.
Right.
So went through that learning experience and then realized that consulting is not a great line to get because it's a service industry. It's not a
Hmm.
product. So around 4 years back, I started investing in startups and started mentoring them because most of them are techies. They understand their domain. They
Yeah.
understand sometimes the markets, but they don't have a real handle on marketing per se or understanding the whole perspective, which is my forte and competency. So
Hmm.
we gravitated towards helping them on marketing. So it started with individual startups.
Hmm.
But now, over the last 4 years, I'm a mentor to 14 incubators.
Wow.
It starts with Tides Roorkee, goes on to uh, the BM Munjal University, goes on to AICT, goes on to BIL Ryerson, goes on to DFAN, goes on to IIT startups.
Right.
There you got exposure to two new aspects. One, how do you mentor the incubator, and then the incubatees? They have diverse competencies, diverse assessments, diverse understanding of marketing, and yet you have to run a cohort with diverse sectors, diverse marketing maturities. So that gave rise to new learnings and new ways. In between, I was a mentor to uh, student, like in IIT Roorkee, we also have students, but they are very serious. But in these universities, and we found that students were just using the incubator as a parking space for, if they don't get a job, they'll continue to do this, and if they get a job, they'll leave, kind of a thing. So that was not a very happy scene.
Yeah.
So overall experiences into angel investing is into individual startup mentoring, it's into startup mentoring around cohorts, and it's into mentorship for the incubators themselves.
Right.
So that's it's a very diverse perspective, which many people are not able to do, and thereby there is a value to whoever associates with me.
Right. Got it. Got it. No, that's great to hear. IIT Roorkee is one of the institutions which I have a lot of regard for. And yes, you're right.
Thank you.
1983 sounds like decades back.
Yeah.
I was born, but I was still in school in 1983.
Yeah,
Uh, no, I think that's interesting to hear about the mix of experience you have had both as a professional, as an angel investor, and then being mentored for so many incubators. Uh, Having said that, marketing as a function has also evolved a lot, right? What is your way of staying updated on various marketing tools and technologies, and how do you stay up to date as far as the new developments are concerned? What's your secret mantra?
well, there is no alternative but to keep updated and to keep developing new appropriate models which pan out with the context. Like, uh, for example, at one time, what we used to spend a lot of money and time on Google, etc., that you get on AI through in seconds, kind of a thing. So the theory part of what is marketing is now less relevant. I don't think you can hold a master class on marketing any longer.
Mhm.
So when I, for example, go and talk to these incubators and then the mentees are there,
Yeah.
what I do is I give them a 3M slip and I say, okay, you ask what you want to ask. So I don't start with a standard concept. So they come out with their learnings. And then I ask them to cluster them, and then I take a case study approach. So my way of relearning and learning is to interact with the young people, take a case study based approach, and then derive learnings from that, thereby developing a model which apparently works for them as well as me. So this is very practical. Now, if you want to drill that down, for example, what I find in most people is that they are focused on their product, but they lack understanding on the value chain. Hmm.
Mhm.
So my first input to everybody is that first you understand the value chain. Like, just to give you an example, I won't take the names, but there was one guy who was making a switch,
Yeah.
which he said that this would save energy costs or whatever. So
Mhm.
I asked him, what is your business model?
Yeah.
And he says, we will sell the switch. I
Hmm.
said, are you going to be in an ESCO model? ESCO means energy saving company.
Yeah.
The this young person didn't even know what is ESCO. He didn't know the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. He didn't know an ESCO model. He didn't know the business models that emerge in an ESCO, etc.
Yeah.
So he didn't know his position in the value chain. He was just seeing himself as a manufacturer of a switch.
Mhm.
Now, getting that mindset change into young people who have been dealing with their startups for 1 year, 2 years,
Hmm.
and thinking about it every day, 24 by 7, in a certain way,
Yeah.
and then being able to pivot that is one of the practical uh, experiences which only a very experienced mentor can do. And I have done this for um, at least 40 startups, maybe, just assisting them in understanding their position in the value chain, then changing either their product or their market strategy based on this approach towards the value chain. The next aspect of mentorship is around decision support. So, a startup has many places where it needs to decide something. It needs to decide whether to go east or west. It has 10 lines of business. What do you do? One investor says, do this. The other investor says, do this. The third investor says, yeah, do AI. And AI may not be necessarily fitting into the model exactly. So, under that, the startup is confused. Every opportunity gives him some advantage and some disadvantage. So there the aspect of decision support comes. And my way of decision support is not to give them exact way of what I believe is right or wrong, but my way is to make them open their lines and their minds towards a thinking process which enables them to come with the answer. So rather than a hand-me-down solution saying that, okay, you XYZ do this, Shailendra.
Yeah.
It may be I would open out the ways of thinking and say, okay, what about this? What about this? How about this? And then their thinking gets primed around their goals, and they understand the recesses of their own mind,
Yeah.
and thereby they are able to take decisions which work for them.
Right.
And when you have taken a decision as a startup on something that works for you, you take responsibility, you take onus, and then by you make it happen for yourself.
Hmm.
That's one of the second. So first, I told you about value chain.
Yeah.
The second is about decision support.
Hmm.
The third is about most of the time, I think 90% of the startups which I mentor, they have this constant paradigm difference between what works for tomorrow vis-a-vis what works for the future. Many times, everyone understands what is the future going to hold for them, but you can't leave your present. You can't leave your revenues. You have to feed your organization. You have to pay your debts. You have to pay your salaries, etc. So you keep clinging on to a tactical approach which works for a today,
Yeah.
and then so that glide path, defining the glide path which works in an individual context for the startup,
Hmm.
which takes you off from your current tactical approach,
Yeah.
which feeds your organization towards a strategic position in the market with or without funding, depending on the situation of the startup,
Hmm.
is the third major aspect where the impact of a mentor is really tangible and very important because it brings in a perspective and experience of thinking which is relevant to them. So the third part was the glide path. The fourth aspect where startups need support and a view from the top. So I call it a 35,000 feet view. Uh, See, any startup, it usually starts with one competency. But now, world over, the new models are saying that you need five competencies in business. One is your product. So, your product, design, innovation, whatever. That's one bucket. The second bucket is around production. The third bucket is around marketing. Fourth bucket is around customer service. And fifth bucket is around logistics. Now, world over, if you see the most successful companies, they have not tried to develop necessarily all the competencies in house. Tommy Hilfiger, for example, has no factory. He doesn't have a single factory. He just outsources everything to China, India, whatever, controls the quality. He focuses only on marketing. Closer home, Airtel is only working on its brand. Its network is given to somebody. Its customer service is given off to somebody. It's focusing on its brand
Yeah.
only. So uh, startups, because they are small when they start out,
Hmm.
they cannot have somebody doing some portions for them. So they need to develop multiple competencies.
Hmm.
The second layer of the competency development is around understanding HR, employees, understanding finance, how to drive not only from the deck point of view, but how to collect money, how to write off outstandings, when to do that, etc. So you need finance understanding, you need marketing understanding, you need sales understanding, you need HR understanding, you need regulatory understanding. So developing all those competencies in young people is not necessarily so very easy.
Hmm. Yeah.
When I mentor a startup or is part of the cohort, you are able to know over a period of time, and that doesn't happen in one meeting when they pitch their deck. It
Yeah.
happens over a period of time when you start interacting with them, and obviously there is an engagement which goes on towards that. Then you know that the missing link in this guy is HR. So the missing link in this second startup is around finance. The missing link in this person is a long-term thinking. So nobody knows that about themselves. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe you know, as Hital, from seeing you from the outside. But when a mentor sees from the outside, he's able to develop the person, the startup, as a professional
Yeah.
into multiple competency sets.
Yeah.
So this is the fourth impact that we have as
Hmm.
mentors. And the final impact obviously is on the most tactical thing and the most tangible thing which they want to see is on the deck. So I have, since I was mentor to some in angel networks also,
Yeah.
I still am, but the engagements are slightly lower now. So
Hmm.
I have developed a mathematical model for assessing the decks of startups.
Hmm.
So, for example, an investor would not fund a single person company. OPC would not probably get funded because there's too much of risk to the investor.
Hmm.
So, in that case, you have to guide them on the founders, the co-founders. Then many people take that everything will go good, but it's not necessary. 3 years down the line, your co-founder could ditch you. So, how do you manage that risk right now? When we tell them this, the overall orientation of the startups is no, this is not very material. This is not important for our next month's revenue or
Yeah.
whatever. So they tend to ignore startup co-founder agreements, etc. 50% of the startups I'm dealing with, despite your uh, telling them and them recognizing that we need to do it, are
Hmm.
not able to get around to doing it. I think that's where the role of the incubator management also comes in to ensure that these basics are into place. You
Hmm.
may be very close friends, but what if he decides to go one way? And we've seen it happening in the
Yeah.
couple of years that we've been doing this. So the sanity checks, the mentor agreements, and there are some people who handle that very well.
Hmm.
Now, there have been some very, very interesting cases. If you would like to understand about that, I can maybe talk about. For example, one case was into gaming, and then the government did. So you used to have a 18% GST
Yeah.
around the platform fee. So if 100 rupees is on your platform, you get 15 as a platform fee. On that, you would pay 18%. So you'd pay 3 rupees. So your margin would get reduced, but that would be
Yeah.
okay. Now the government slapped 28% on the entire money, on 20, on 100, not on the platform fee.
Hmm.
So when they did that, obviously the business model changes. 100 is floating in the market, you are earning 15, but you have to pay the government 28. Now,
Right. Right.
obviously, the business will fall flat.
Hmm.
So uh, now these people were at a point of closure.
Hmm.
Now, from there to pivot them, and for 3 years they've been incubating and thinking of one thing to do. From there to pivot them, and then to finally convince them to change geography, etc. So we were able to do that. So
Hmm.
that's I think also one of the roles of a mentor is to be with the founder when he's alone, to be with the founder through the thick and thin, and
Hmm.
ensure that in their lows, you don't ditch them, you don't, ask for extra money or whatever, but you support them. That
Yeah.
will always support you later in the context. Because
That's
the
very
whole principle is
comprehensive.
that you first add value and then you get value.
No, very comprehensive, and you explained your interactions with startups pretty much in detail. If you're supposed to broaden it and categorize from a industry-wise perspective, which are the sectors in startups which are very promising as of today, and which ones are something that you have kind of written off as being very difficult?
Yeah, that is a very, very good question, Hital, because somehow the startups which are going to make immediate money are not the ones which attract me. So somebody comes with another cloud kitchen or whatever, I'm not interested in mentoring that guy because I think that stage is much over. It's a mature industry. People will make their money as if they have a good product. But suppose you get into sectors that benefit the startup as well as the country. That's my sweet spot. So I take decisions based on that, even my investment decisions, even my mentorship decisions. So,
Hmm.
uh, so initially, when we started, you used to take up those stakes in any which company which came to you.
Yeah.
Now you have to be selective. So, for example, what is going to benefit the country is, for example, a sector like biotech.
Hmm.
Biotech can, a small startup can make a significant, if they just work on one aspect
Yeah.
of whether it's around cancer or it's around osteoarthritis or it's around aging or it's around just a basic thing like a drug delivery. And if they can collaborate with a pharma industry, it can make a whale of a difference to your and my lives. So biotech has that potential. That's why it gets a very high multiple also.
Yeah.
Revenue multiple of 25, 35 is also possible with biotech. So
Hmm.
I uh, plumb for biotech, number one. Number two, especially when this government has removed the possibility of import of defense equipment. There is, and you've seen the way the drone industry has grown. Now drone
Yeah.
is getting mature,
Yeah.
but there is lots of those other products called which are not drones. So lots of other products. So defense is another sector where I would
Hmm.
plumb very closely.
Yeah.
Energy sector where you can contribute towards energy saving.
Hmm.
Uh, at one time, the country didn't have enough power. Now, with the kind of plans which Adani's, Ambani's, etc., have rolled out,
Hmm.
I think very soon we'll be having enough power as
Hmm.
a country also. But
Hmm.
then what you need is grid management, what you need is energy saving, what you need is stable frequencies, whatever, what they do abroad.
Hmm.
So that is one very big area which many startups are not doing.
Hmm.
And the fourth sector I would put is around what works in the world is around ESG. So anything around sustainability. Sustainability is a good concept.
Hmm.
People are picking small pieces in sustainability, but if they can work across the value chain on sustainability, it may be a low tech product like a paper bag or a bagasse based bag, or it may be a high tech product like estimating carbon generation and sequestering the carbon, etc. So
Hmm.
sustainability is my fourth area, and I always like to give in the fifth. So the fifth is on. It is. I know edtech is not very hot and happening now, but I think we have a huge potential in mass customization of education. And if startups who are specifically focused around AI based mass customization around education, I would I would love to mentor such a company. So that's my list
What do you mean
of
by mass
startups.
customization of in education?
Mass customization means not one message to all. Like in marketing, if I have to address a person like Hetal, who's
Hmm.
a very experienced person in marketing, vis-a-vis one of your startups,
Hmm.
I can't speak the same thing. You understand marketing differently, so you will tune yourself off me.
Okay.
Whereas the startup which is just new, is first class in marketing, he will be very attentive.
Oh, so
So
you're saying
mass
you're referring to
customization means
technology which will allow for mass customization
exact
in edtech.
in it.
So
That I
if
think
there are
is a
10 students in my
very
class,
big area.
I should not be sending out the same content to all of them. I should be customizing my content for each one of them. And that
At
I
least
use
segmental,
AI.
if possible, to each one of them, but at least segmental. You should be able to
And are
tailor
you
your
aware of
content.
any? So that sounds an interesting idea. Are you aware of any startups which are actually doing
No,
this?
no, I would even do a venture studio on this. I would be very happy to guide them on how to do this. But
No, no, no.
it's
I like the idea. So I was asking
mm,
if
mm.
there's any startup which you already come across something like this.
And the last one is a little esoteric. I don't know if the young people will relate to this, but I believe if you read the Ramayana and Mahabharata, there used to be the concept of Ichha Shakti,
Hmm.
that you will something and that will happen.
Yeah.
Now with the NLP and with neuro-linguistic and with brain machine interfaces and with whatever,
Yeah.
uh, I am personally developing an architecture to make your will come true. So,
Okay.
for example, we are. If you know how ads get tested, the very best companies.
Hmm.
So, they put a probe around your brain and then they show you different ads, and then they know if you do a normal survey, you will answer one.
Yeah.
But if your brain responses
Hmm.
around the emotional cortex, etc.,
Yeah.
how they will be, so they understand those brain patterns,
Yeah.
and then they know what's going to hit my audience.
Got it. Got it.
So that is an architecture which I'm trying to take forward into
Very interesting.
developing.
Very
So it's Shakti, but that's like it's science fiction right now.
interesting. Now, bulk of the startup that you mentioned would have more orientation around funding, right? Because these are not small startups, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that looking for funding in early stages is a good idea, or you think uh, early stage founders should actually stay away from such business models in general?
Again, a good question which lends itself to two kinds of answers. One, I believe that any startup should not, necessarily his business model should not necessarily be like a Cred or a Zomato that you need the funding to do your business. Because then what happens if that funding doesn't come? Then will your business close down because
Yeah.
you couldn't get the funding?
Yeah.
Maybe there was a stage when those people were able to get that kind of a money and
Yeah.
keep burning, and cash burn was a very successful model. And
Yeah.
I think more than Zomato Cred is the living example of cash burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Very true.
spend
Yeah.
170 rupees to earn 1 rupee or things like that.
Yeah.
But most investors in today's context are wary of such
Hmm.
investments unless it's deep tech or something like that.
Yeah.
And even in deep tech, they would leave 20 startups and select one. So,
Hmm.
your business model should not be such that you necessarily need the money to run your business. Your business should run on its own, be
Yeah.
profitable.
Yeah.
But yes, if you get the money, it enables you to accelerate your plans, to
Right.
put teams into place, to put
Yeah.
technology into place, to buy equipment which you didn't have
Yeah.
earlier and things like that.
Hmm.
But if you think around your business, not necessarily around money. So what I find is that 50% of the startups are thinking around the money only, and they
Hmm.
are just jumping from one investor meeting to another, keep changing, modifying their deck tactically. Somewhere they lose sight of themselves also.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've seen this happening.
Yeah.
Whereas there are some people who are focused on their business. Okay, you don't get your funding, you can't buy your machine, but there are opportunities in the government sector to rent out those machines. There are incubators where you can just pay for a couple of hours of usage, things
Hmm.
like that. So those are the people who are focused on their business.
Yeah.
And you can, as an experienced mentor or angel investor, you can see through them also. You
Hmm.
can ask a couple of questions and get to know, is this startup just looking for the money, or is this startup looking for his business to grow?
Yeah.
And invariably, I mean, India, we don't do research per se, but invariably, the people who are thinking about their businesses will grow, and they will tide over these various times.
Very interesting. The other
Now coming
important.
to,
Ah,
sorry,
yeah. Please. Please continue.
now coming to how they intend to raise money. Uh, the the deck, of course, is something, and I have seen people fumbling with the deck, and maybe the internet doesn't pan out. So I have been telling, okay, forget the deck. You just speak.
Yeah.
And you will be shocked to know, Hital, that 60% of founders are not able to speak about their business. They need that deck. They need that support to talk about what am I doing and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why should you need that? Hmm? I think it's contrary to it. It erodes investor confidence if your deck did not work and you're not able to speak about your business or
Yeah.
confidently communicate about your business. So I think that is something that startups have to be wary about. They should,
Hmm.
even if they are not extempore, doesn't matter, but
Yeah.
you should learn enough and be confident to speak even if your deck is not working.
Right.
Last, coming to the tactical aspects of the deck construction.
Yeah.
So, in that, everyone is following a template. This is the market, this is the TAM, this is the SAM, this is the SOM, this is what we'll get. And invariably, 90% of startups don't have the strategy in place.
Hmm.
Now, if you are saying, yeah, India is a big market, India is a big market. Like when we bring in foreign companies in my consulting company, we do share the big market, we share the we do all that. But then we lay out a very clear strategy and a very clear glide path. So
Hmm.
these are two missing elements in most startup decks. A
Right.
strategy of how you would dominate the market. Number two, the glide path. You are here, you want to be there. What do you do when? It's not a linear line that it's a very crooked, jagged line. Somewhere you'll fall, somewhere you'll rise, somewhere you'll. So the glide path is the most important path for any startup.
Yeah.
And many times I find glide paths and strategy missing in most investor decks.
Hmm.
And the last thing on the investor is many times investors have only their return. Obviously, an investor is not doing it for you; he's doing it for himself. So
Yeah.
he sees that okay, I can uh, go towards this sector or this particular startup. My multiple is going to be higher.
Yeah.
In that context, many investors are diverting you away from your goals. They are telling you, no, no, don't do this line.
Yeah.
The startup says, I can do these two lines.
Hmm.
Investor says, no, take one and scale it.
Yeah.
Invariably, an investor will say that. Is a venture fund or even an angel network. They will say, pick one only.
Yeah.
But a startup wants to do two. Now, how does it do that
Yeah.
in the context? How? So these are questions around investor and startup interface
Yeah.
where you have to be very clear about what you want to do. Like, uh, I just wanted to be ethical when I did my business.
Yeah.
Now, if I was getting money and somebody was saying that, okay, you do a little bit hanky panky, but at least you'll grow faster,
Yeah.
I would have told him, no, I don't need your money, right?
Hmm.
And what I find very encouraging is now some startups are standing up
Yeah.
to them and
Mhm.
saying that no, we will not uh, divert from our plan just
Mhm.
because of the money that you bring to
Right.
us.
Right. Hmm.
This is encouraging, very
Yeah.
encouraging.
Yeah. 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 Um, the other element which is important to address is failure, right? How do you prepare your startups to face potential failure, or how to navigate difficult circumstances? Or if there's any particular example that you'd like to share, that would be great.
Yeah, most failures are, in my assessment, in the 150 startups that I've dealt with. I don't have an exact Excel sheet or something, but from gut feel, I would say number one, they fail when their business model needs that money alone. Right? In order to make your tech stack, you need that money to. So one major reason of failure is that, which I forewarn the startups in advance that you may not get the money, but that doesn't depend on you. You can do your effort, you can do your bit, but
Yeah.
the forces of the universe are conspiring in a certain way that you may not get the money, but your business should still run.
Yeah.
So that is one. And the second area is on sales. That they may have a good stack, they may have a sales. And the third area is around when they become unethical or they just become money oriented,
Hmm.
and they lose sight of the business values and ethics. These are three broad reasons which I feel.
Got it.
So normally, when we are mentoring a startup, you would do risk management around all of these.
Yeah.
So so risk management in sales would mean, okay, you can't sell yourself, but then you can work with a channel to do sales. Maybe you have to provide an extra cost of marketing.
Yeah.
So you work on the strategy in such a way that the opportunity to fail is very much contained and curtailed.
Yeah.
You ideally do that, but sometimes, despite that, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Uh, Ethics, yes, we've had many cases where I was an investor as well as a mentor.
Hmm.
But the startup, they do tactically everything fine, but their mind is around cheating. So,
I know that's
so
a tough one to get.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to just then switch off. Otherwise, you lose sleep. If you start seeing each case and
Yeah.
then you say, I spent so much time in mentoring this guy and now he's become unethical.
True.
You just wish them their part of the
I know.
universe and then leave it.
True.
So
No.
you ideally a mentor should do the risk management around especially after you understood the startups competencies,
Yeah.
and then you know what are the likely failure points, and then you do the risk management around that.
Yeah.
The opportunity to fail would be very low,
Right.
maybe 1%, 2%.
Right. No, that's been great. And Sanjay, it's quite evident the depth of expertise that you have, not only from your personal experience, but more from having invested in mentored startups. In conclusion, maybe three advice which you would want to give to the fresh startup entrepreneurs. What are 3 points that you would want them to take really good care of?
uh, okay. First and foremost, I think before the business, also the startup founder or founders, the first journey is internal. First, know yourself,
Very
and
good point.
I find that's a big missing thing. And the people who do it are more successful as they go along. So my
Yes.
first suggestion to young startups would be know yourself. Go do that inward journey. You will
Yeah.
meet many people, you will meet many customers, you will meet many investors, you will meet co-founders. That's an external journey, but first travel the internal journey.
Yeah.
So that's my first point of
True.
view.
True.
Second is everything goes good when the going is good and you're making money. Everybody is happy. You are able to feed your family. You are able to feed your employees.
Yeah.
Uh, Prepare for the worst. So whether it's risk management or it's mentally steeling yourself for the times and lows will happen in business. And
Yeah.
if it's happened with the Tatas or with the Infosys, when there are lows in the business,
Yeah.
or it's happened around demonetization or whatever, lows will come in any business. So
Right.
at that time, steeling yourself for that low, mentally conditioning yourself to handle what is called adversity. So adversity handling is not a skill they teach you in education.
True.
How to handle
You only
adversity
face
is
it
not
once
what they
it
teach
comes
you
on you, right?
at all. So it
Yeah.
comes only when adversity comes, probably. So I think first is inward journey, know yourself. Second is how
And
to handle adversity,
yeah.
uh, and third is to really put your business values in the front of your business,
Hmm.
not at the back of your business.
Right.
Like over a period of time, the investors and the mature investors will like a business which has a certain set of values, which it knows is going to be stable, it's going to be sticking around in the market. Everybody knows that somebody who's cheating or unethical
Yeah.
uh, will fade away in some time. He might make some money short term by cheating the investor, but so ethical business, and not only ethics, but the business which runs with a certain set of values
Yeah.
towards your customers, towards your suppliers, towards your employees.
Yeah.
Put those values up front. Maybe
Mhm.
in a short term, you may not gain so much, but
Yeah.
in a long term, your business will stick around. And investor always wants to know. Any investor knows that you can't get an exit in less than 6 to 7 years.
Right.
So you need the company to last out till then and to thrive till then.
Yeah.
So this is the third
Got
perspective.
it. Got it. No, thanks a lot, Sanjay. It's been a real pleasure talking
Thank
to
you,
you.
Ethel. Thank you.
And your depth of expertise is not just valuable for this podcast, but I'm sure our incubatees and startups will benefit a lot. Thank you very much. And
Look forward to remaining more in touch with
done.
GRG.
Great.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Bye.
much. Thank you. Bye bye.